How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh, and as we all saw at the ending of Avengers Infinity War, specifically in the post-credits scene where we see Nick Fury disintegrate, but before he disintegrates, he actually sends a message in this little weird device that he has, and as the end credit scene plays on, we can see later that the message was actually sent to Captain Marvel herself. Marvel Studios has really been trying to talk up Captain Marvel recently, especially Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, saying how she's going to be the strongest Marvel superhero that we've seen on screen before, probably one of the most powerful beings in the entire MCU along with Thanos, and how she's going to be an integral part going forward into Phase 4, and most likely she'll probably be a really key character within the next Avengers movie. But my big question is, where the heck is Captain Marvel exactly, and why wasn't she present during the events of Avengers Infinity War? But now really thinking about it, shouldn't have Captain Marvel not only been in Infinity War, but also shouldn't she have been in the first Avengers and Age of Ultron as well? Because Nick Fury was in both of those movies, knowing how big of a crisis those two Avengers movies actually had on planet Earth. So why didn't he call Captain Marvel to come help out with the Chitauri or Ultron with the other Avengers, so she could have been a part of that Avengers team? And then when Infinity War rolled around, she could have helped out the team actually take out Thanos and make sure he doesn't get all of the Infinity Stones, and then the snap would have never occurred. Half the life in the universe would still be here.
You should have gone for the head.
And I know a lot of you guys are probably like, well, maybe Nick Fury didn't have that device. Well, Captain Marvel, the movie, is supposed to be taking place during the early 90s. So it seems as though that he got that device in the early 1990s, and now bring all the way up into current present day in 2018 when the snap happens. That means he still had it during those two Avengers events, which means that he really should have contacted her during those events as well. So there's a lot of questions that they really need to go over in Avengers 4 and Captain Marvel, really going over exactly why Nick Fury didn't contact her sooner in prior events. But let's really just focus exactly on where Captain Marvel will be in Avengers 4. I have a couple suggestions on this, so really bear with me on this. The first theory is she is in deep space on her own adventures. Very much like the Guardians of the Galaxy on how they do their own adventures in space. We always see the Guardians of the Galaxy taking out enemies like Ronan, or maybe even taking out Ego in their own standalone movies, and they never cross paths with the Avengers. The Avengers haven't really been off their world except for Thor, but they don't cross paths with any other characters until Avengers Infinity War. And in reality, it was really just lucky that the Guardians actually found out that Thanos was going after all 6 Infinity Stones, because if they didn't get the distress signal from the Asgardian ship that got blown up by Thanos, then they would have never been there. So obviously the Marvel Cosmic Universe is a very big place, and different characters can really have their own stories where they're not going to be crossing paths with any other characters. But if we go back to that end credit scene in Infinity War, you can see the device that Nick Fury is really using. It looks like it's definitely from the 90s as like a little pager, and also it looks like it has like some weird antennas on it and everything, meaning that it actually probably can send signals into deep space. So that's why I really think she will probably be within deep space on some unknown planet, much like the Soul Stone, where everybody was theorizing when Infinity War was coming out that the Soul Stone would have been on Titan, or maybe it would have been within Wakanda, but now we found out that it was on a completely different planet that we've never seen before in the MCU, and I think that's exactly what might be happening with Captain Marvel as well. After the events of Captain Marvel, the movie, she might be left on a planet that we've just never seen before, and that's where she's going to be. Number 2, she could be trapped within the quantum realm. Now, I've seen this theory pop up online a couple times now, and I really just want to address it. Now, since everybody saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, we found out a lot about the quantum realm and exactly what could happen within the quantum realm that Hank Pym was discussing at the end credit scene of that movie, how you could get stuck within the quantum realm and then actually go through different time periods.
And don't get sucked into a time vortex. We won't be able to save you.
So people are thinking that since Captain Marvel is going to be taking place within the 1990s and Avengers 4 is going to be happening probably within 2018 or 2019, that means she went through the quantum realm and actually got stuck there, went through like a time vortex, and then she'll come out of the quantum realm during the events of Avengers 4. Now, I will say that definitely could make sense, but at the same time, it really just shows you that Nick Fury was contacting her at the end of Infinity War, rather than her just getting stuck within a time vortex or something like that within the quantum realm. So one, she wouldn't even be able to get that message if she was in a completely different dimension. But say if she was able to get that message, then that means she not only was able to get the message, but then if she was trapped within the quantum realm, she couldn't just get out of it if she got that message. She'd be trapped in there until someone actually pulled her out a lot like Janet Van Dyne, because Janet Van Dyne knew a lot about the quantum realm and gained a lot of superpowers from it, but she still wasn't able to get out of it and actually go back to Earth. And to be honest with you, if time travel really explains anything, it probably explains how Captain Marvel didn't age a day from the events of Captain Marvel all the way to Avengers 4, because she looks the exact same. But I have a feeling they're just going to explain that, but really just saying that her powers really just make her age a lot slower than normal human beings. Number 3, she's on the Kree homeworld with Captain Marvel. Now, a little side note here, Captain Marvel actually is the original Captain Marvel within the Marvel Universe, and he is a Kree alien, and he actually is the one who gives Carol Danvers her powers from the comic books. Now, really just looking at exactly what this Captain Marvel movie is really panning out to be, it's going to be basically about the Kree and the Skrull War, where the Skrulls are looking to be the villains of the movie, and the Kree are going to be the good guys along with Earth. Now, the Kree definitely have been portrayed as very differently in the movies, like Ronan the Accuser. He was a Kree, and he definitely was an enemy.
You will never rule Xander. No. I will cure it.
But it seems as though in this Captain Marvel movie, that Captain Marvel herself and Captain Marvel are going to be siding with, and they're going to be fighting along that side to take out the Skrull. And if that's true, that means that Captain Marvel probably is on the Kree homeworld. Also, even up to the events of Avengers 4, the Kree still could be battling the Skrull. Those are two massive empires within the Marvel comics. And I wouldn't be surprised if they still were doing the Kree-Skrull war during the events of Avengers 4, bringing in the Skrull, and you could actually adapt those characters into the Marvel Universe and have them be the next big enemy for the next Avengers movie down the line. Or maybe Captain Marvel is really just fighting other beings that are enemies of the Kree, because if you just look at Earth and what the Avengers have been fighting for the last 10 years, they have no shortage of bad guys either. So I think when you're looking at just outer space in general and the Kree homeworld, that definitely gives Captain Marvel a lot to do for the next 20 years. And it would definitely make sense that the only thing that really got our attention to come back to Earth, or maybe just to go seek out Thanos, was the snap when that happened, and she sees Captain Marvel or half of the Kree Empire actually get completely dusted. Maybe that's what brings her over to Thanos, where she meets up with the Avengers in Avengers 4, and then she battles Thanos. Really just saying there is a ton of possibilities of what could happen, but I think her being in deep space or on the Kree homeworld are probably the most likely choices for where she actually will end up at the end of Captain Marvel and where she'll be during the events of Avengers 4. And I have a feeling that the Captain Marvel trailer will drop in the next couple of weeks, so I think we're going to be getting some little hint of where she might be within that trailer. But of course, Webheads, if you guys want more on Captain Marvel, definitely check out my Captain Marvel playlist right over here. Definitely consider subscribing and turning on the bell notification for more Marvel Cinematic Universe videos. But Webheads, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye.